Hello,
Hello,
man.
hello.
Hello. How are you, man?
I am good, and you?
Yeah,
Good to
thank you
see
very
you again.
much. Yeah, long time no see.
Yes,
How have
yeah.
you been? Everything is cool?
I am, yeah, I'm trying to be better.
To be
I
better than
had some, yes, I had some problems in my life, personal life,
I see.
and also I hurt my leg,
Yeah,
neck also.
actually, I saw a picture on Instagram,
Hmm.
but I couldn't have the
Yes.
time. Really, I was in a rush. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
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 I hope
no
I hope
problem.
everything is cool.
Yeah, it is better right now.
All right, amazing, amazing. Cool, cool. That is really cool. So, you moved to Istanbul, or are you still in?
No, no, there was a fair related to our sector.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and I came back to
Okay.
Adana.
I
Yeah.
understand. All right. That is amazing. 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 All right. Let's say hello to Hannah.
Adana.
Yes,
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
So far, so good. Thanks for asking. Yeah, we are doing well. So, as you can know, as you may know, actually, I created some Google Classroom. I don't know whether you saw them or not. And this is for advanced level, of course. Let me share that also. And then we can start. Hannah, is this your first time joining, or your name is very familiar, but I don't remember. Is this your first time
Yes,
joining?
yes, this first time.
First time, all right, all right. Okay, welcome over. Where are you calling from?
Egypt.
Egypt. All right. So, as you can see, this is for advanced level. I created this thing so that I wouldn't basically waste time on finding topics and everything. I don't know. Do you read these stuff more often? I have no idea.
Mm, a little.
A little bit. Yeah, sometimes.
Hmm.
So today we're going to talk about criminality. It says, let me share that maybe in the, how can I say? Hold on a second. In the chat box to make sure. Let me first read that. Criminality is growing among children and teenagers. Why is it growing, and how should these criminals be treated? Of course, hold on a
Ladies
second.
first.
Ladies, ladies first. Of course, of course.
I don't have an idea.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, of course, you will have an idea. Of course, we're going to dive deeper. As I can see, Mr. Mazen is here. He's a good speaker. And of course, our champion, Mr. Ken. How are you, man? How are you?
I'm a good speaker as well. I can speak for England.
Okay.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I've literally just got home, so I may very well kind of switch the camera off and just listen for a bit.
Sure.
Try to do something at the same time, but I will be listening, so don't worry.
Sure.
Now, remind me, what is the subject this week?
Of course, I'm going to share that. It was just a kind of greeting, like an intro, and then hopefully we will talk about it. Of course. And what about you, Mr. Mazen? Are you all right?
Hello, teacher. How are you doing?
So far, so good. Still alive, yeah.
That's great to see you.
Thank you. Likewise. Thanks. Of course. So today's topic, as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, is, let me read that. Criminality is growing among children and teenagers. Why is it growing, and how should these criminals be treated? So let me again share that in the chat box. and then we can maybe talk about it. All right, ladies first. Ms. Hannah said, I have no idea. No problem. You will have an idea. Or maybe Mr. Ali can start.
Okay, in my opinion, for teenagers and children, for children and teenagers, the main reason of being a criminal is to have bad family and friends environment.
Yeah.
Because nowadays most of parents are busy and working. They don't have time to take care of children, and they don't spend so much time with them. And also children and teenagers are spending time with their friends, and they influence easily each other. And if they spend time with people who are who tend to be criminal,
Yeah.
they can affect easily.
They can be affected. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, and also video games, movies that includes robbery or murder can cause this problem.
All right. Thank you very much for
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Of course. Very decent one. Now let's move to Mr. Mazen. What is your opinion about this very question?
Well, I think that the teenagers and the children, they get affected by their, their group that they are meeting, their friends, the circle of friends.
Yeah.
So they don't find a meaningful life there at home. So they try to, they find themselves like lonely, and they don't have a good family, socially speaking, and they perhaps a divorce or problems at home, shouting and things like that. So they get to try a meaningful life outside their family. They find that by their friends. And some of those friends are types, some of them might go stealing from other neighborhoods and do stuff that like smoking in an early age, and the drinking and going to a lot of parties and things like that. So it moves on and on until they say to each other, why not go take this from the neighbor, and it accelerates and it develops to be a criminal person. So these things, here in Denmark, there are social advisors. They come up and meet with them, and they begin give them advice and try to handle their situation and help them with good pieces of advice. And if they, some of them get sent to the jail, they also get some kind of psychological and social support in order to become a better person and an active person in the society.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for this report. What about Ms. Hannah? Do you have some ideas that struck your mind? You want to talk about that?
Yes.
What is your opinion?
I think this criminal accept around the world or the environment around children and teenagers.
But why it is growing day by day based on this statement? Do you agree with this? Do you think that criminality?
Because there is no attention, there is no parents don't important for him, or don't they him to I don't know.
Mhm. You mean wrong parenting, or we can say irresponsible parents, indifferent
Yes, yeah.
parents, yeah, such. Okay, thank you. Now, yeah, Mr. Ken, I think he is available. Please go ahead.
Well, first of all, I'd be questioning where the statistics came from, where these facts came from. That would be my first thing in terms of, is this really the case? So, but I suppose you've got two arguments here. Are these statistics, are these so-called facts actually facts? Now, the second one is how and why, if there is a increase in children becoming delinquents, how and why does this happen? I think it's fairly well known that the root causes have been around for a long time. Part of it is poverty. It's not exclusively poverty. Part of it absolutely has to come down to parenting and poor parenting, and how, if parents are not in control of their children, children will become feral. Feral meaning wild. They will, if parents are not at home, which could be because of 1, 2, 3 jobs, parents having to work, single parents looking after and or bringing up children on their own, and or parents who have in themselves come from broken homes, come from difficult pasts, have come from a situation where they haven't been parented. Therefore, their inability to parent is reflected upon their own children. So because they were never parented, they were never given good, clear, socially responsible guidance. Later on, when they became adults and had children, they are unable to give the same to any guy. Well, they're unable to give guidance to their own children, their own offspring. How you combat this, probably initially through tackling poverty, tackling education, and tackling, I think, like a social cohesion. So making sure that people realize that their actions had a direct reaction or direct reflection upon somebody else's life. So if you break into somebody's house and burgle that house, the effect upon the people who've been burgled can be quite severe. So cause and effect, it's an amazingly big subject matter. Where do you start? Where do you start? How do you, one, clarify that the facts are correct? Two, deal with the main problems, poverty, one being it, and then how do you relate to those who create, or who are criminals, or who become criminals, what the effects of their crimes are upon their victims.
Oh my God, yeah, that is really deep. Yeah, of course. But first thing first, we have to, are all of us, do all of us agree with the first part of this statement, that criminality is growing among children and teenagers? If yes, now let's say why it is growing. Why is it growing? Of course, Mr. Ken said poverty, parenting wrong or poor parenting, of course, lack of education. And how should these criminals be treated? Partially, Mr. Mazen partially mentioned that in Denmark, there are some experts who are dealing with these stuff. They are trying to educate, enlighten these kids or teenagers. I don't know, this kind of stuff. What else can be done? Maybe Mr. Ali can say a couple of words.
Maybe parents can follow regularly their children's behavior, and if there is a problem, they can make a contact with their teachers or school counselor. They can produce a solution for this problem. Maybe they can take a professional assist.
Mhm.
Also, the one of the main reason of being criminal is, especially in Turkey, parents are buying toys like such as gun,
Mhm.
swords for their children. By playing with them, they tend to be criminal. Yeah.
Do you really think so? I mean, do you really think so?
Yes, I think so.
Mhm.
Especially in Turkey, these type of people generally play toys in
Mhm.
their children life.
In their childhood. I
Yes,
see.
childhood.
All
I have to
right.
totally disagree. As a child, I had toy guns. I was brought up around toy guns.
Me too. Me too.
We used to play something called Cowboys and Indians, where we would choose sides and we would play with toy guns. And it definitely got no interest in guns. And I'm not a criminal. If you don't give me your money, I'm going to kill you. I don't think. I don't think that's the case. I think there's always a percentage. There's always a percentage. You cannot rule out that 3-5%. I think for most children, it's just a great form of relieving boredom. And I will say, actually, given the fact that most children today sit on computer games and gun games, we did it in the street. We had toy guns and we played in the street and we ran around, so we got exercise. I would wonder in today's society, when many children sit at home and play games and hardly go out, whether they have the time to be criminals because they're not outside taking part in criminal activity.
All right.
That's kind of, I would look at like the UK and possibly America and other countries. I don't know about Turkey. I don't know about less well-developed countries. So I'm sort of, I like the idea, but I'm wholly, it doesn't work for me. Sorry.
All right, no problem. We're just spitballing. Yeah, thank you very much. Now, maybe Mr. Mazen has got something to add.
Yeah, I mean, in some cases, the family, the wife or the husband might be addicted to drugs in the family. So the child, and when he gets older, I don't, for me, in my own opinion, I don't have statistics, but I don't think logically that children would go doing criminality. So I don't think so. I mean, it's mostly when they get older in the teenager period. So when they become teenagers.
Yeah.
So if the child or the person has an addictive to drugs family, this kind of thing might affect him deeply hard, and he would go and try to bring drugs to his family, and perhaps find some people like him and go sell those stuffs, and then he gets a lot of money, and these kind of things
Can be
can be very
enticing.
damaging. Yeah, very damaging to the person. So also the promoting violence through video games, like what he said about the guns is that they use in the game. So if this is what fascinates the person a lot, he would get in trouble if he believes in what he's playing. If if he does not leave it there, if it's just not a game, he go in actual reality and do such things and try to use a gun in reality. So
Of
that's
course.
also a problem.
Of course, there is always a possibility of doing anything. Yeah, I mean, those video games can, maybe cannot. There's always a possibility. I cannot deny that. Yeah.
Can I bring in an interesting comparison between countries?
Sure, please.
Japan. incredibly safe. Their video games, their comics, incredibly violent. Why don't they have an incredibly violent society? They don't. Incredibly safe, so safe it's unbelievable. It's just like, even to me, I'm like, whoa, you know, you can get drunk, fall asleep on the street, camera around your neck, and you will wake up in the morning with the camera on your neck. But they live on these very violent gun games, this very violent comics, but they're not a violent society. So I don't think you can 100% equate violence in video games or comics or cartoons with a violent society. That's one perfect example, and I think Korea is the same, where the two ideas do not marry up. In some other societies, potentially yes, but in other societies, no.
Is that something related to culture or education? Can we relate them to those things?
Yeah,
or
I think it's society, culture, and education. I think it's related to people respecting other people.
Mm-hmm.
So incredibly respectful. They don't drop litter. You don't see litter.
Yeah.
Because they just don't do it. They're taught from children, you don't do that.
Yeah.
And everybody picks litter up if they see it. So you have, it's this cultural side of things which can change what we perceive to be the perfect storm in terms of things which should create a violent society, should create a lawless society, but because their base society is so organized, so thoughtful, that actually there is criminality. Yes, there's pretty much criminality everywhere, but it's nowhere near the kind of levels in many other countries. Okay. So again, I come back to the original question. How are you defining these things? How are you analyzing these things? And you know, what are the questions which need to be asked in relation to how do we answer the question, the initial question?
Yeah. Totally right. Of course. I mean, maybe Ms. Hannah, have you got something to say, to add? Or maybe you can talk about the situation in your own country. How is the situation over there? And what causes that? I think microphone. Okay, yeah.
Yes. I think parents, the first thing parents should do to spend more time with the children and show friends how treat with children, with friends, and a little bit of social media. In our country, I think there is not any criminal among children and the teenager, because fathers already earn money, and the mothers stay with the children to grow up or take care for him. There's no any criminal about my country. I think so.
Okay, that is really promising, really promising. All right, lucky you. And let's talk to Mr. Mazen.
Yeah, I mean, again, if we come back about the triggers that triggers such action, perhaps, I mean, too much watching movies that are related to criminality and these kind of things. I think also it depends about what kind of friends the person has. If he is in such a place where the environment is full of
troublemakers,
troublemakers and the drug dealers, all these kind of things, he will get attracted to them because it's easy money, you know. It's easy money. When he gets a good amount of money, and then becomes his social life becomes perfect, surrounded with all kind of stuff because of this kind of money. So he will become attracted more and more to do something else.
All right. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
there's a point there that when children get enticed into criminal gangs, they see that they can have what they perceive to be an easy life. They perceive that they are going to get rich for doing nothing. And I think in the early stages, the children don't quite see the repercussions, the potential dangers. If you look at, say, drugs gangs in Latin America or the States, where there's a real potential that the children can be killed because of the nature of drugs gangs. So they initially see the benefits. They don't see the disadvantages of being involved in gangs and what those relationships with other gang members will lead them into. So as small children, I think their perception of the world, our perception of the world when we were young, was very, very different. As you get older, they do start to realize that, violence is endemic. Violence is part of their daily life. And the old adage is, he who lives by the sword will die by the sword.
Yeah.
So eventually it will come to most of them that, their death is quite imminent because they'll see so many of their friends dying. But at that point, they are so rooted in the criminal gang, it's almost impossible to extricate themselves.
Yeah, I see. Thank you very much. What do you think, Mr. Ali? Because, for example, for me, I think, let me answer the question by asking a kind of challenging question. Why some kids, some teenagers are so decent, and at the same time, we can see some, I don't know the percentage, minor or major percentage of, those kids or teenagers are troublemakers. Only parents, only society, only poverty?
No, maybe the rules of law can affect this situation. It depends on the countries and the ideas of people, because, for example, in Turkey, children, can you hear me?
Yes, of course, I can.
In Turkey, for example, children and teenagers are watching TV on news, for example, and they see that a lot of people stealing money or killing someone
easily,
but they don't but they don't go to the jail, for example. Because of a specific reason. After a while they are freedom, for example. By seeing this situation, they are encouraging. How can I explain? Yes, they are encouraged. Right. Maybe this situation can affect this problem.
Okay,
maybe.
So the influence of media, or social media.
Yeah.
All right,
media.
You call it. Okay, I would say maybe we can relate it this way. I would say those troublemakers, of course, they're human beings, but I think they need attention. Maybe they try to show themselves off, maybe because of lack of attention that they couldn't get in the family or in the society.
Teacher, I will edit something.
Sure.
Our parents are our role model.
Definitely.
Yes, if we see fighting or discussion or domestic violence in our life between our households, for example, these situations are getting effects easily, and our behavior can change easily day by day by seeing these people around us. And after a while, we are acting like them. The main
Definitely.
reason, I think, is
Definitely. Yeah, please, Mr. Ken.
No, it's a fair point. Fair point.
Yeah.
We are led by role models, be they our parents or peers. So if we're constantly seeing our parents fighting, if we constantly see our parents drunk under the influence of alcohol, drugs, if we constantly see our parents getting into trouble, there is a very good chance that we will probably follow them into a similar lifestyle because we just think that's the norm. So yeah, I mean, coming back to something I said earlier, I think parents have a tremendous role with their children, but if they have been brought up without any parental control, without any parental leadership, they themselves will not have the skills to lead their own children into a better life. But yeah, I mean, a great point with regards to parents. And parents, absolutely, first and foremost. Peers, absolutely. Teachers, those in authority.
Yeah, totally right. Thank you very much. But okay, what is the solution for that, to sum it up? Because we have only a couple of minutes left. And what is the solution? Do you think that we have to sentence them? We have to put them into jails? Do you think that, putting these people into the jail can be a good answer for that, a good solution for that? What is your opinion? I mean, maybe, yeah. Ms. Hannah, can you talk? Because you're silent.
Yes.
Yeah, please. What is the solution for this? How should we treat with these troublemakers?
First, parents can spend more time with children and know how about friends. How can we go? What they do with each other. We can, mothers can take care more for the children. Yeah. This is the main rule.
Yeah, the basic thing. Yeah.
Basic things, yes. And following the children step by step.
All right. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, of course, these are also right. And Mr. Mazen, what is the solution?
I mean, one of the stories that I heard on the social media
recently,
that there was not recently, 1 year ago, I think.
Okay. All right.
That there was a person who was in the atmosphere of criminality, and he was a criminal. When he got a bit older, he tried to volunteer to other people and to help them with this issue. So he became a source of inspiration for others.
Nice.
When he found himself in troubles and dealing with a lot of problems and facing all these challenges, then he ended up himself like being someone who is going to help others in the path of healing.
All right. Amazing.
So yeah, so that's one of the inspiring stories that I heard about a person. This is very good. Also, some of those criminals, they get themselves into psychological problems. They will be at the end offered some courses in how to enlighten themselves about how to be a better person in the society.
All right. So what you said is related to Denmark or some other European countries, or generally speaking?
Yeah. I mean, I know people that have been criminals here, and they tell me the stories also.
All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, Mr. Ken.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the Denmark example, I'd say we have a similar kind of system. and certainly some criminals do, once they've come through the criminal establishment, once they've come through either youth offender into prison, they suddenly realize that their life could have been better had they not got into criminality. And there are quite a few who go around and talk in schools, give lectures, explaining exactly, why it's not cool to be in prison, why it's not cool, and what effect it has upon your life afterwards, in terms of the inability to get jobs, which leads you into further criminality because you can't pay for things, you can't pay for rent, you can't do this. So that criminality becomes a vicious circle. Yeah. Not getting involved in criminality in the first place means that there's a greater chance that you can live a better and more productive life. We in the UK have similar kind of things like Denmark. So young children will be looked after by psychologists, by probation officers, by people who are there to try and help, to try and progress the family and try and alleviate problems. It's an old problem which does not have a golden bullet kind of fix. We cannot fix this thing immediately. And I don't think we ever will be able to fix it unless we absolutely radically change our societies. And that's a bigger ask. I think we have got to just try and put more into the initial infrastructure to help children, to find those children who potentially could become criminals later on, the disruptive troublemakers in school, work out why they are disruptive, why they are troublemakers, what is their problem. I think we're always going to have that. We're always going to have that. It's a very difficult subject from the beginning. And none of us, I'm afraid, are actually qualified to even help. We can only pontificate, and you can only practice your English on a subject matter, which is rather difficult. I'm very impressed that people have even attempted it, because it's not an easy subject matter.
Exactly. Yeah. I always say that sometimes, there are some topics which, knowing English is not enough. You have to have some data, some information about it so that you can easily talk about that. Yeah, of course.
Perfect example. I know English and I struggle with this one. It's such a big subject matter.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, maybe Mr. Ali can say something about that. Oh, guys, we have only 3 minutes, less than that. Yeah.
Yes. Maybe parents can spend much time with their children, and they can do some good activities, and maybe they can grow plants. Maybe they can have a pet, for example. Maybe this kind of activities can keep our children away from terrible trouble. Yes, maybe it can help.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Hopefully, let's be hopeful. Yeah. All right. So, what are your final words? Mr. Ali mentioned that. Maybe Ms. Hannah wants to say something about that. What is your final words about? What are your final words about this very thing? What should we do?
I don't know.
You have no idea. Okay, I'm not gonna question you. And what about Mr. Mazen?
I think educating people and raising up awareness among the teenager before they get themselves into trouble.
All right.
That's the main thing. I mean, there's some group that go into the schools and they just lecture people just for one session about these kind of stuff. This kind of volunteering work is very good.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Ken?
We have to look at children as being our future. There will always be some rogues. There will always be problems. we've got to help. We've got to assist. We've got to help and assist the families who potentially will get into trouble. And it's not exclusively the lowest paid, those in poverty. Criminality does happen elsewhere in the social chain.
Yeah.
The vast majority, I think, tends to be down in that area, but it's not exclusively with poor people. But we've got, where we can, we should be trying to help those people and trying to better the chances of their children.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you so very much. Take care of
Thank you so
yourselves.
much.
See you next
Thank
time.
you.
You too.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Lovely.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.